Hello, welcome to Farrell Swim Tech. My name is John Farrell. This is the online live stream where I use my 15 years of racing experience and 13 years of private coaching to help you get faster in the water. So at this point of our freestyle discussions, we've basically gone over all of the more basic stuffs. We're now going to start transitioning more into the kind of graduating from beginner's technique and moving in a little bit more to the intermediate technique. So these are things, so there is a part of body rotation, which is our main principal discussion topic for today. There are things that work towards the beginner swimmer, adult onset swimmer, and things that will definitely benefit the intermediate swimmer. And then also there's a expert area of this. I'm not really going to go into the more expert stuffs. I'll kind of push that for another episode. So we'll kind of cover a lot more of the pro level technique items. These are things that the average triathlete aren't really going to be going for. The average triathlete, honestly, catch, pull, basics of recovery, breathing technique, kicking technique, body positioning. Like those 5 things are the only things you need to focus on. Once you start getting under 145 per 100, that's when you really start focusing on the, you're going to focus on the body rotation. You're going to focus more on really starting to add more and more pressure to your arms and your legs. It is my sincere belief that if you have a decent technique, you can swim a sub 145 per 100. If your technique is there, if you don't pull very well, if you have terrible body positioning, if you're losing a lot of energy due to an extremely inefficient kick, that's going to be what's causing you to slow down. Now, once you start getting below 145, we got to start really adding more acceleration into the equation here. So that's where your body rotation is really going to start picking up more strength per pull. So what is body rotation? So body rotation is the amount of pitch from side to side that our body does when we swim. Basically, if you have zero body rotation, your shoulders are pretty flat and your arms are going over, your arms are basically going barely over the water surface, and you're swimming a bit like this. That's with zero body rotation. But basically what we want is we want to be able to dip one shoulder in the water and get one shoulder out of the water as we pull, and then as we finish, as this arm goes into the water, this other shoulder is going to come down. The back shoulder is going to come up as you recover, as you pull through. So we want to work more on the side-to-side pitch. Now, where do people go wrong with body rotation? Usually it's either a flat body positioning where your arms are barely coming over the water, your shoulders are very flat, no rotation, or you over-rotate where your arms are recovering across your center line, your elbow is coming all over the place, and your arm is like across your head and doing all these really crazy funky things. Over rotation is really bad because number one, it's going to make you really dizzy. Let's be honest here. When you're flipping your body from side to side, you want to keep the head nice and stable, and your shoulders want to be rotating around the spine. So there's quite a few things that go into this. So first off, we need to understand head positioning. Now, I've seen some different ways to talk about head positioning. Like for instance, TriDot with their pool school, they urge all of their swimmers to look straight down at the bottom of the pool. Now, why am I talking about head positioning with regards to rotation? Because we actually want the head to stay still while the shoulders are rotating. There's actually a dry land series that I'm going to show you in a little bit to really help reinforce this idea of rotation, because it's very similar to running, where we don't want the head to be following the shoulders while we run. We want the head when we run to be nice and stable, nice relaxed neck. We don't want to be running like this, and we don't want to be running like this. We want to have nice relaxed shoulders, nice relaxed neck. And here's the other thing too, and this is actually a legit thing. If you tighten up the neck, and when we talked about breathing, we talked about not whipping the head to the side. But if you are whipping the head from side to side while you're swimming, trying to get those shoulders down, you're going to wind up cramping your neck. And trust me, neck cramps, no bueno. I used to get neck cramps somewhat consistently during college. I think it was because I wasn't taking on enough sodium. But also we were doing 8 to 10,000 yard workouts, which is yay. Honestly, don't know if I could do an 8,000 workout right now. That's what happens when you've been out of the game for 20 years, okay? It just happens. So basically with the head positioning, you can either have it straight down. I like to jut the chin out just a little bit so that you're looking at about 30 degrees from vertical. Now, I do this for a safety reason, because 9 times out of 10, when I am swimming and I am swimming in a workout situation, I'm usually with teenagers, and these teenagers be dumb. And usually I got 1 or 2 that are extremely slow compared to me, so I'm passing these guys within a 200. So I have to keep my head up just a little bit in order to be able to sight them and make sure that I'm not gonna get kicked in the face. Also not a good idea. Don't get yourself kicked in the face because of the person in front of you. Take little peeks, even if you're looking straight down. Just kind of jut the chin out, because what we want to avoid is this, and we want to do this, okay? So work on just jutting that chin out just a little bit. So this is flat. Keep that neck out, keep that chin out just a little bit. Rather than bringing the neck back, bring the chin out. So that's going to help save your neck in the long run. Also, you're going to be right back? Yeah. Okay. I got my son in the garage with me. My wife's with my oldest daughter at softball practice, so I got the 2 other kids roaming around the house. So I affectionately refer to my 4-year-old son as the baby burrito. I try not to use their names on stream as much as possible. So my oldest goes by Peanut, my middle daughter goes by Minty, and my son goes by the baby burrito, even though he's 4. He's never going to lose that moniker, people. Once you get a nickname, man, it's hard to lose it. I mean, that kid's going to hopefully be on the high school team, and he's like, his father affectionately referred to him as the baby burrito. So anyway, all right, let's get back on topic here. So with this whole concept of keeping our head nice and straight, we want to start working on getting the shoulders to rotate around the body. Now remember, when we breathe, we're going to lock the shoulders in with the neck, and the whole assembly is going to rotate to the side, and then it's going to rotate back, and then the shoulders are going to unlock, the neck's going to unlock again, and then the shoulders are going to rotate around the neck. Okay? So what do we do with the rotation? Why do we want to do rotation? Okay, so we're going to talk about the most basic reason why we want to do it, and it's saving our shoulders, okay? Because trying to lift the shoulders like this over the water, when you see this shoulder's flat, and I'm trying to kind of reach this up and over the water, it puts a lot of strain on the front part of your shoulder. Once again, I'm not an exercise science guy. Okay? I only know there's a front part of the shoulder and there's a back part of the shoulder. What they're called, I don't know. I build swimming pools and fake rocks for a living. I don't know. I don't know anatomy. I do profusely apologize for not being an expert on that subject. But I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night, so there is that. Shout out to old 90s commercials. But basically what we want to do is we want to get that, we want to rotate the shoulder, so then when we're recovering, our elbow is more in line with the 2 shoulders, okay? So basically there's about two major settings for this body rotation. Usually I recommend about 45 degrees. So this is about 45 degrees. This will get your elbow in line with your two shoulders as you're pulling underneath the water in the correct formation, okay? So as you're coming over, you're going to come over and bring it forward. So I'm gonna pop on the bench here in a minute and show you these things. But basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to shift and align the elbow and our two shoulders in the same line, okay? So if you can't rotate as much, this hand is going to wind up coming out a little bit further. The ultimate goal is to be able to bring that hand forward. You see my hands all the way back here? It comes forward in a line. That's the ultimate goal. Shortest distance between 2 points is a line. We want to be able to lift the shoulder and the elbow so that hand comes out in a line. We want to avoid sweeping the arm forward as much as possible. We want the recovery to happen in a straight line. Adding the rotation will help this happen, because what we're going to do is we're going to rotate up. This elbow comes up as the finger comes right over the water. It comes forward in a straight line. Here's a couple reasons why we want this, and this is this is a little bit of a rehash from the recovery video the stream that we did a couple weeks ago. Remember, if there's any questions about this whatsoever, please let me know in the comments. If you're watching this as a VOD, hit the comments. I regularly check the Zoot Facebook page. I'm always willing to answer questions, and if I don't, if you can't do it, if you don't want to do it publicly, shoot me an email, feralswimtech@gmail.com. My actual email is theferal@gmail.com. So anyway, so we want to be able to lift that shoulder up and bring the hand forward. So there's two major reasons why we want to avoid sweeping the arm over the side. So number one, this winds up, it's just a slower recovery. Now, does your recovery need to be super speedy fast? No. Let's be honest here. You're not doing sprints. Even the sprint distance is considered distance for swimmers, okay? The 500 or 750 yards that you're doing is still technically long distance for pool swimmers, okay? It's not a sprint. Sprints are 50 yards, 100 yards. Heck, even a 200 is considered a sprint for distance people. So those ones you want to have really fast recovery turnover rates. You don't need that for distance. So is the speed difference between this and this really that big of a concern? No, not really. Not going to be that big of a deal. That being said, the second reason is actually way more important, because this leads to snaking. So snaking is when your arm comes over the water and you cross body recover. Okay, you cross body enter, and the hand goes past your center line, and it basically moves you in this direction or this direction. Okay, so when we finish the recovery, we actually want the arm to be in line with our shoulder. Well, I mean, obviously in line with the shoulder, but basically we want it to follow the line leading up to our shoulder. So there's a center line down here. We actually don't want our hand at the center line, because you can see right now from my shoulder to the center line of my body, there's actually an eccentricity. There is a offset distance from my shoulder blade to the center line of my body. And if I'm putting my hand in the center of my body, I'm actually curving myself inward. Especially when we do open water, this is huge in terms of keeping yourself straight without spending every single stroke sighting, okay? I had a assistant coach back at BYU who in the later years he now coaches club in the Utah area. His name is D Luce. Hey, Coach D. And he literally would hop in a pool and he would swim for 3,000 yards, never opening his eyes. He would swim with his eyes closed because he knew how to swim very, 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 very straight. He swam very straight and he swam very consistently. So he knew when he went down the 25-yard lane, he knew exactly how many strokes it took to get to the wall. He'd get to the other side, do a flip turn, push right off, and start moving towards the other side of the pool. He would do that for 3,000 yards multiple times per week. How do you do that? You know how to put your arm in order to swim straight. So what does this have to do with body rotation? Okay, so when we go straight here, we're going to have this shoulder down in the water. This hand is going to be an extension of our shoulder. So then as we push, we're going to drive this shoulder down in the water without sinking ourselves. So all we're doing is this. That's it. That's it. We're not pushing our shoulder down. We're driving the shoulder down into the water. So as we come here, we're going to grab that water and push it backwards, okay? So how do we work on this? And here's the other thing too. So the more advanced reason why we want to do shoulder rotation is that this actually helps engage the core. Now, remember, I talked about this idea where there is a part of this body rotation that's for beginners, and then there's a part that's for intermediates, and then there's a part that's for experts, okay? So beginners is all you're doing is alleviating shoulder pressure. That's all you got to worry about for now. Don't worry too much about engaging the core. Don't worry about all these things. You can do 45 degrees. There's a reason I say 45 degrees. Once you get beyond 45 degrees, your life gets a lot more complicated because of the legs, okay? We're not just rotating the shoulders. We are rotating the body, okay? We're actually rotating everything from our legs all the way up to the shoulders. The head stays still every single stroke, okay? You see, as I rotate to the side, my hip is right down here. There's my belly. There's my hip. So as I rotate the shoulders, the hips are going to follow as well. Now, when you only rotate 45 degrees, you don't really have to change the kick too much. The kick doesn't change that much at all. When you go beyond 45 degrees, that's when the kick gets very complicated because you got to start stacking your legs, okay? I can almost guarantee you, for most of you, this will be impossible if you're slower than 145 per 100. Almost impossible. Very hard if you're faster than 145. Basically, when you're about 130 or faster, that's when you're going to have, in general, and like I said, this is all generalities here. Based off of the dozens and dozens and dozens of people I have personally reviewed and dove in deep into their technique, what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it. I have done a lot of research on this, and these are all generalities. Obviously, there are exceptions to the rules. I get that. However, it is important to understand that every once in a while, there's going to be someone that breaks this mold. And I fully understand that. I'm cool with it. However, in general, if you're slower than 145, you're not going to have the kick necessary to be able to stack and rotate the legs. Not going to happen. Normally, the kick is too knee-driven, and when you try and drive with the knees, you're not going to have any stiffness between the lower body and the upper body. That whole stiffness matrix is completely blown apart. You're basically riding your bike, and you have rubber cranks on the bike. You push it, and they just deform like crazy. That's what's going on with your legs. Now, when you're faster than 145 per 100, there's a decent chance you might have somewhat decent legs. But typically I have found that they still don't understand truly how to kick. Still too much knee bend. The stiffness is a little bit better, but usually that upper leg is not doing much at all. And it's a lot of this with the legs. So in order to be able to pull off the full body rotation, to be able to rotate from side to side beyond 45 degrees, you need to know how to kick straight without bending your knees. Because until you do this, it is going to be insanely hard. Your legs will literally twist up into little pretzels, and you're going to be like, what is this garbage? It is not working for me. And you're going to get really frustrated. So my general rubric is, if you are slower than 145, just focus on getting a little bit of rotation to help alleviate any shoulder stress. If you're faster than 145, start to work on developing stiffness in your system from your shoulders down to your legs. So that means you're going to engage your core, engage your lower back. You're just adding a little bit more stiffness into your system. And then once you're faster than 130, that's when you're really going to start pushing the rotation past that 45 degrees. And if you have really good kick, like you can just rep off kick sets. You can try this if you're slower than 130. I would say you should be around the 130 mark before you really start diving into this area of technique. Like I said before, if you don't have the right fundamentals, it's only going to frustrate you beyond belief. It's just not it. The amount of time you're going to sink into this could be better spent sinking into other areas of your technique and really refining those before you get into this more advanced version of the rotation. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on back to the open area, and we're going to talk about kind of ways to work on this rotation, talk about dry land, a couple different things that you can do in order to work on this. Okay. All right. So, by the way, yeah, let's do this now. So I talked about H2O Audio at the beginning of the stream. Really great partners. They're in the comments is my my affiliate link. So you get 20% off using offer code FeralSwimTech as the name of this stream. All one word, FeralSwimTech. And also, if you are really having shoulder issues, I highly recommend dynamictriathlete.com. They're also another really great partner with Feral Swim Tech. I love using these guys. And like I said, I don't hawk anything that I don't personally use. I use Dynamic Triathlete as often as I remember to. And every time I do it, I feel fantastic. Good 15-minute stretching routines every single day, focusing on all different parts of the body. The Dynamic Triathlete specifically is focused in on us triathletes that do run, bike, and swim. Lots of stuff for the lower body, lots of great back. They have some really great back regimens, like a 30-day back regimen. That's really good for just kind of opening up the back, opening up the upper back, lower back, spine twisting, things of that nature. All of these are great for swimming. Trust me, I'm a yoga dude, okay? I am that dude in the yoga class with all the hot chicks, just totally outstretching 90% of them, okay? I've always been a limber guy, all right? My range of motion in swimming is insanely a boon. And on top of that, if you use Dynamic Triathlete, you're going to be able to help develop an injury resistance through good stretching. So dynamictriathlete.com, offer code SWIM, SWIM, for 10% off your subscription. So that's good. And if you click that link, you got to scroll all the way down to the bottom. Lots of blah, 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 blah. So it's about $80 a year or about $8 a month in order to do Dynamic Triathlete. Trust me, you're going to start this. It's amazing. It is really, really, really good. So dynamictriathlete.com, offer code SWIM, let's get to the open areas. So we're going to unmute you. Actually, hold on. All right, there we go. Quick drink. So just remember, have any chat, any questions, any chats whatsoever, hit me up in the chat. All right, let's do this. Man, it is so amazing. I gotta say, it is so amazing how much less I yawn when I actually do these streams at 7 o'clock at night. Those of you that actually watch these streams, you know, oh man, Farrell's gonna yawn at least like 20 times before, you know, he yawns about like once per 5 minutes or something like that. It's like, oh, it's tough. So anyway, okay, how do we work on body rotation? So first thing we need to do is we need to learn how to isolate the head from the neck, okay? So what you're going to do is just nice and easy, just rotate the body back and forth. So you can put your hands on your hips, look straight forward, and just work on isolating that head, keeping it forward, and rotating the body back and forth. So you can do it. You can get a little bit more if you put your feet together, or if you want to be in a more relaxed stance. You're going to not get as much rotation, but you can still work on this with a very, so, you know, really, you know, the closer your legs are together, the more this is going to be accurate to what you're doing in the water. Because in all actuality, your kick should be between here and here, here and here. So if your kick is about here, you're going to split the legs and come to the side, and then when you kick, you're going to come back to this side. That's more the expert version. Like I said, we're only going about 45 degrees. So you're here, you're back to here, back to here, back to here. So 45 straight, 45 straight, 45 straight. So just gotta, you know, you're just standing around. If you want to work on this, just do this nice and easy. Isolate that neck, just kind of relax everything. You can close your eyes. I know this is like absolutely the most awkward shimmy you have ever seen in your entire life. I mean, come on, it's the pants. You know you love the pants. I mean, they're comfy. I like them, okay? I mean, it's either these or just a plain old blue pair of sweats. So I'd rather have something with a little bit of flavor to it, okay? All right. So that's the number one thing that we're going to do. So the next thing that we can do is we can take our Swiss ball. If you have a Swiss ball, this will be a lot of fun to do. So what you're going to do, and this is also more of a catch and pull drill. So if you can put a Swiss ball on an elevated surface, if you got like a coffee table or like I have my bench here. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on keeping the head forward, grab this, and move it backwards, except I'm hitting my rack. Fantastic. I know exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, we're actually going to roll this back over to the side. Going to shift this out just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to put this right here. So we're going to work on bringing the shoulder forward and then move this backwards. That was so graceful. Don't you love it when things just work the way they should? So I'm going to keep this here. This is actually a really good pulling drill. So this is going to help you reach forward, bring that hand underneath, and then bring it back. So here, okay? I'm going to do it one more time. Okay? So you're going to start here. So, but my backhand is all the way out here. So we're going to bring this arm over as we're pushing backwards. Okay? So, I mean, if you got a gym and you got a whole long ways, man, you can just chuck this thing backwards. It's a good time. But I don't have that room, so I'm not going to do that. So, back forward, hand towards the back. As that elbow bends, we're going to bring this arm over and rotate. So we're going to dip down, okay? So that's something you can do with a ball. A lot of fun to try with your kids. It's a good time. So the next thing we can do is work on air swimming, okay? So you can come here forward, back, forward, back. Okay, so if you do this horizontally like this, remember, this is nothing more than this, okay? If you're doing it like this, understand this is completely the wrong motion. However, if you do it like this, what you're going to do is you're going to bring this shoulder to the front, grab something, push it to the back, push it to the back, push it to the back, okay? So this allows you to graduate from this into this, okay? All right? So this is lengthening out the back, to the front, to the back, to the front, okay? Now, the real work comes when you swim vertically, okay? So you're going to come here, this shoulder's going to dip down, you're going to face the mirror, okay? As you push down, this arm's going to replace. So the whole key that we want here, I'm gonna sit down for this one. So I'm obviously not going to be able to rotate when I'm seated, but you'll get the idea here. So when I'm reaching up, hand, elbow, shoulder, okay? We don't want to be here. Remember that. Don't be at your center line. Be in line with the shoulder, okay? So then we're going to grab, we're going to push down. My elbow is behind me, okay? So if you're at 45, you're going to be about here, okay? And then you're going to reach up, bring that shoulder forward, towards the mirror, because this is going to be down underneath the water. So you're going to bring that shoulder forward, grab, push down as the other hand is coming up, grab, push down as the other hand is coming up. Remember, we want to try and practice swimming vertically because this is how we swim when we're actually in the water. It does us no good to do this when we're trying to do dry land because this is down to the bottom of the pool when you rotate 90 degrees to be flat on the water. We want to reach up, push down, push down, push down, push down, okay? So over time, you'll be able to really work on this shoulder rotation while you're staring at a monitor or your TV or your mirror, and you don't have to put your face in the water. We don't have to breathe. We don't have to rotate to breathe. We can do this as long as our shoulders keep liking us, okay? So you can do this nice and easy. Remember, reach down towards the ground as we're reaching up to the sky, and then we're going to grab as this front arm is pushing down, the back arm is coming up, ready to push down, okay? So now for those of you that are swimming with more of the 45 degrees, so what I'm showing is more of the expert level where I'm able to get that arm really close to my head as it comes up to the surface. However, if you're in the more moderate, beginner to moderate, your hand's going to be somewhere out here. Hold on. My son's coming back in the garage. I thought I heard kids screaming, but it's my son's tablet. Hey, come on in, buddy. Hey, you want to say hi to the Team Zoot guys? You want to say hi? Come on over here. Come on over here. Well, this is my son. He's known as the baby burrito. Can you say hello?
Hello.
Yeah, usually he might raid the stream early in the morning if my wife has to go to work and he's already up. But, so why don't you, I'm going to be finishing up here in a little bit and we'll be able to play our game, okay?
Okay.
All right, why don't you go sit over on the couch?
And now I just had to do some stuff in
Oh, can you bring that tablet over here? I got the big mic on, and they're going to pick up all of your stream stuff. Here, we got to turn it down just a couple clicks, okay?
Okay.
All right. So we're going to click it. All right, there you go. That should be good enough. Okay, so if you're doing the more beginner...
My alligator.
All right, get your alligator, buddy. He's talking about Gatorade. So if you want to do the more beginners, so just rotate just a little bit. Your hand's going to be somewhere out here. If you're more expert, you're going to be about here. If you're more intermediate, you're going to be somewhere out here. Okay? So you're going to be out here. Reach up, reach up, reach up, reach up. Okay? So you're still going to push this front shoulder towards the monitor, but it's not going to be near as much. So you're going to be here, push here, push here, push here. Okay? So just focus on pushing, keeping the shoulder, keeping the spine nice and straight. Here, let me rotate 90 degrees here. So we want to keep our spine nice and straight as we push the shoulder down. We don't want to push the shoulder down. So you see that I get out of alignment when I push too far with the shoulder. Hey, what's up?
I just want to do some exercise.
Oh, I can't have you do exercises right now, little buddy, because you're gonna be.
Just with my little weights.
Okay, why don't you go around the backside, grab your little weights, and do your exercises on the carpet, okay?
Okay.
We have like 2-pound weights. He does little exercises with 2-pound weights. So we want to keep that spine straight. What I tell people is like you got.
They're getting heavier for me.
That's very nice, buddy. I can't really talk that much right now, okay?
I'm gonna do that,
buddy. Okay, do your exercises. We'll talk in a minute. I'm almost done, okay?
And I'm sometimes a little tired, but I'm just going to like that.
That's fine. Watch your show, do your exercises. I can't really talk right now, okay? All right. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to get our spine out of alignment. What I tell people is like your brother shoved a broomstick up your spine and it can't rotate, like it cannot rotate side to side or front to back. Your spine is actually solidified as a rod. And it can only rotate like this. Okay? That's why I'm having you do this with the back. So this is just a good little rotation. And like I said, with Dynamic Triathlete, they have some really, really good back spine rotation stretches that they throw in regularly with their 15-minute workouts. So when we're pushing the shoulder forward, we want to just be pushing the shoulder forward, not throwing our body forward, okay? Something common that I see is when people try and do what I like to call muscle, they're going to throw their body forward, go, ha, 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 okay? So they're throwing their shoulder forward in an effort to add more oomph into their stroke. Very common with people trying to learn how to sprint for the first time. You actually want to be throwing it forward. You want to throw it up. You don't want to slam the water. You want to throw it up, 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 up. So you see I'm still rotating, but I'm not throwing my body out of position rather than slamming the water down, where I'm reaching up, grabbing water, and slamming it down to the ground, where it's actually a lot more efficient to pierce, push, 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 push. Okay? So those are some of the issues that I typically see with rotation. Usually it's either the ones that are really, really slow or the ones that are trying to sprint and simply overcompensate with the shoulder drive. Those are usually the biggest issues that I see with the shoulders. Yeah, okay. I can't think of really anything else to discuss on the bench. Okay. So we're going to click that and that. Then we're going to bring that down just a little bit. All right. So yeah, this is a last call for anyone who's actually watching live. And you want me to answer a question for you. But yeah, that's basically it for rotation. Rotation is really, like I said, for the beginners, it's more of a quality of life improvement. Not necessarily going to give you a whole ton of strength, and the reason why is because for the majority of beginner swimmers, They don't understand the connection between the shoulders, the arms, the core, and the legs. So there's going to be an episode sometime in the near future where I'm actually going to talk about that connectivity between the legs and the arms, and it's all through the core. It's being able to engage the core, add stiffness. I think it's all going to be kind of wrapped up in a stiffness discussion. Because usually, for those of you that swim slower than 145, usually floppy arms and floppy legs are a massive symptom of this. Just because, you know, we talk about stiff shoes, we talk about stiff cycling shoes, you know, the carbon fiber stiffness in the shoes, the carbon plates in the running shoes, you know, all these things that we talk about, stiffness. Yet I can't, it's hard for me to see. I mean, I don't see a lot of these more professional outfits talking about stiffness in swimming, because that's a huge difference between beginner swimmers and competent swimmers, beginner swimmers and ex-high school, ex-collegiate swimmers, Olympians. You know, you look at people that have been doing swimming a long time, and the thing that you're really going to notice, oh, you know what we'll do? I just realized this. I haven't shown myself swimming tonight, where typically I do this. So swim items. So okay, so here's what we're gonna show. So here's my normal. So this is about 130-ish, 120 to 130-ish per 100. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing the shoulder, the head, the neck, and the pelvis, you know, the spine all the way down, doesn't really move side to side a lot. It's just rotating along that center line. So the whole point is we want to keep our spine as neutral as possible. We don't want to have any snaking at all. And remember, the big reason for this is we don't want to veer ourselves off course when we're doing open water swimming. So basically, the biggest key here is that we want to just push that shoulder down into the water without messing up the overall spine curvature. So as you can see, the hips rotate a little bit. I'll be brutally honest, I'm being a little bit lazy here. So you'll see this more with my fast. So this is about sub 110 per 100. So what you're seeing here is you're going to see a little bit more rotation with the hips. Usually my heavy rotation is when I'm in my pure distance stroke. This is a little more of kind of my 200 pace that I would do in a 200. But you see the rotation in, oh, and I'm also being pretty lazy with my recovery. I don't really have that much of a shoulder drive in this. But that's because I'm trying to go decently fast here. So basically, but once again, you can see where the spine is basically neutral the entire time. We want to keep, just like I said, we want to keep it nice and neutral so we swim straight and we don't cause a lot of drag. Okay, so here's the last one. So this is my slow. So this is about 140-ish per 100. So what you're going to see is a lot more. Yeah, there's a decent amount more rotation here, but that's just because I am able to, really stretch things out. So this is more of like my absolute recovery. And some of you are going to say, what? Your recovery is 140 per 100? Yes. It just is. That's just, I don't know. I can't swim slower than this. I legitimately cannot swim slower than this. I do profusely apologize. But basically, so what you saw through those three examples is that we really, really, really want to keep that spine nice and neutral. It's going to make our lives a lot easier and a whole lot more efficient. So yeah, so that's gonna be it for me today. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm also leaving my link tree in the comments. So if you want to know more about what I do, if you want to see all the links down below, feralswimtech@gmail.com, any and all email inquiries, Instagram, Feral Swim Tech, YouTube, Feral Swim Tech, and Rumble, Feral Swim Tech. So, if you want to see my gaming live streams, typically they're at nights. I'm on the bike most mornings out here in the garage. It's a pretty good time. Get some tunes, pound out a couple kilometers. I'm doing kilometers because I'm doing my whoosh, and they like kilometers much more than miles on that program. So yeah, so if you want to join me, all the links are in the link tree. Would love to have you as a member of the Frito Bandito Taqueria. But for me, as the proprietor of Feral Swim Tech, I'm going to be getting out of here. I promised my son that we would play Big Thinkers by Humongous Entertainment. So throwback to all y'alls that used to play Putt Putt, Pajama Sam, and Spy Fox. Those of you that grew up on those games, that was actually after my time. But those are fun games to play with your young child. So big shout out to Humongous Games. Ron Gilbert, you're still fantastic. I love ya. So yeah, so that's all I got for you today for rotation. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for checking out the partners of this stream, Dynamic Triathlete and H2O Audio. Yeah, I'm really excited. I got less than a month to go until my first race. So my first race is going to be Los Alamitos Race the Base Reverse Sprint, and then the weekend after I will be at Bayshore Sprint. I threw my hat in for Ironman 70.4 La Quinta, Indian Wells, at the end of the year, and then typically I like to do Mesa Sprint. So I drive down from California to Arizona and do Mesa Sprint. Lots of Zoot amigos over at Mesa Sprint. And then I'm back here at Bayshore in November for the Olympic. Oh, fantastic. All right, well, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and comment on this video if you so desire. I'll be back next week. I don't really know what I'm going to do right now, so I'm going to figure it out, and on Tuesday, I'm going to post the topic for next week. Once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for those tune in live at this strange hour for Feral Swim Tech. So catch you next time. Keep training, everyone. Until later, my friends. Good night, Isaiah Norris. Wherever you are. I'm sorry, I just about had a big old burp right before that. So anyways, have a good night, everyone, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.